So Reitanna, it's Reitanna Seishin here. So the quality of this recording is not going to be as good as usual because I'm recording it on my phone, because I'm on my bed with my rats, and they're playing around, and they're cute, and they're fuzzy, and they're fat. Okay, so the nightmares I had last night were crazy. Um, I don't fully remember how they started. I remember a couple of things out of order. One was, I'm gonna say a lot, like I always do. Um, I've been crippled in my dreams for, quite a long time, and I can't walk properly. So I've been, like, I have this device or whatever that I've been trying to walk with. And, I have to take it off every now and then, especially when I sleep and stuff. And I try to walk without it, and it just gets worse and worse. I'm like, I can never walk again. I want to walk. Um, and then in this dream, I was fitted with this new device, super high tech, huh, Orby? And it helps me with my balance, and instead of having to try and move my feet, it would actually, it was like it was like shoes or boots that had sort of a conveyor belt at the bottom that just kind of rolled me forward. I love you, Orby. I love you so fat. You're such a sausage. I'm gonna kiss you. Mwah! He's like, what? This is a budget. I got a butt. And for some reason, Dib was there, and he was playing with Fire Dib, except he was wearing a different shirt for some reason. And he was like, whoa, those are cool, because technology whiz. And, I was like, thanks, trying to pretend that I totally didn't recognize him, as my rendition of a character. And what are you doing? Why are you tugging at the blanket? Why are you tugging? You guys are so silly. So because he was there, I was looking around for Zim, but I didn't find him. Um, and then I found this really cute, like, he was really cute, this cute guy, um, that was like, not cute like in, you're so hot, have my babies, cute as in, like, oh, look at you! And he reminded me of Tenji, in a way. And that's when I saw a bunch of my own characters, like, in a group, talking, and going into a room. And I was sitting there like, what? And, and he's like, oh yeah, all of your characters are going in there, to have a meeting. You should join them. And I'm like, what? Oh, my characters are real? And I'm like, how do you know that they're my characters? And he just kind of grins, and he's like, one of them is my cousin. And I'm like, and I looked at his face, I was like, you look like Tenji. You're fictional, and you've known it the whole time. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, how are you one of my characters? I don't even recognize you. And he never gave me an answer to that. So I went into the room with a bunch of my characters, and I remember Coda was there, Sumi, Tenji, Evelyn, Irene. Who else was there? There were a couple others that were kind of old. I know Mary was there, Sapphire. Um, and it was just a room that looked sort of like I don't know, like a break room or something. There was a microwave and fridge, and there was a TV, and I think Evelyn was playing, like, Dance Dance Revolution or something. I don't know. And, well, because these were all suddenly real people that I knew everything about, but had never face to face met with them, I was really shy, and I was like, I'm just gonna hang out over here, and I kind of crawl under a desk. And I don't really remember the outcome of that. The next thing I remember, I don't know who I was, like, I don't really know where I was or what happened. Well, I know some of the things that happened. You know what I'm trying to say. Oh my god, my rats are just so cute. Oh, you guys are so cute. Oh, you guys are so fuzzy. Um, so in my dream world, there's two renditions of the devil. There's the one that I usually work for, you know, the man, just normal sized guy, but I mean, he can. Oh, Orbeez on his back, and he's getting groomed by Jerry, and I'm gonna squirtle his belly. And you squirtle his belly. Look at that fat belly. And you're just getting groomed. Yes, you are. Anyway, so Mephistopheles, is the regular one. He's just like, he looks like a regular person, but, you know, he can change form and stuff. And then there's this little shit who looks like a little person, and because he's a little shit, I'm gonna call him a midget. No offense to other little people, but this was a little fucking shit Satan, so he's a midget. Oh, Brooks, happy rat. And there are actually two of these guys, except one is good and one is Satan. And we call him, we just call him the devil. We call Mephistopheles or Satan. We call him the devil. And then the other one is like this sacred saint or something that you have to use a special, I mean, for both of them to summon them, you have to use a special spell. But it's harder to use the other one. I love you so much. But it's easy to summon the devil because you're all like, you have to say, you know, I call upon the devil for a favor. But he's sneaky. So when you give him the favor you're asking of him, you have to give him something in return. And usually he twists it around or something. Pardon me. So I don't remember what the favor was. I know that Senpai was with me, and a couple of Dream World exclusive friends. And I don't remember exactly what I asked of him or what he had me do in return. But I guess Senpai stole something from him because our favor included a little golden star or something, and he tricked us so that he doesn't give us the golden star. So Senpai stole it, and he sucked her into this dimension, this hell, and I screamed bloody murder. I don't remember screaming that harshly in a dream since a dream friend of mine got ran over by a bus right in front of me. And then they didn't just like crumple, they went splat like a freaking water balloon. It was just automatic impact, splat, huge splat all over the place. No body, no nothing. It was just, it was horrifying. Anyway, so I screamed, and I went right after her, and the others are like, Kara, no, don't! And so, I don't think anybody else came in after me, but I went in, and it's something that wouldn't look too terrifying on screen, especially nowadays, but it was definitely terrifying being there. So, it was like, it had a similar setup like Doom, the original Doom game. Also, in comparison, the maze screensaver on old Windows versions, and the pictures on the walls were constantly moving, and each one was different, and each one was showing a loop of really disturbing images and flashes of things, and it was just overwhelming to the mind and to the eyes, and it was terrifying, and it was horribly loud. Things were screaming, and it was like, I don't know, so many things were flashing, and it was terrifying. So, but my main focus was trying to save Lauren, aka Senpai. That's her cartoon name. And so I kept screaming her name. I kept screaming, Lauren, Lauren! And eventually I found her, and she was, like in Doom, a 2D sprite that, that couldn't turn, no matter which way you turned, it was facing you. And it was really badly done, but I could tell it was her because of her red curly hair. And apparently I looked the exact same to her. And I tried going after her, and apparently she was trying to go after me. And like we were trying to get closer to each other, but for some reason we just kept increasing distance between each other. And I love my rat. And it's like, even though she was facing me, it seemed like it was an illusion, so we couldn't figure out which direction we were actually going. And I said, okay, well, at least we found each other. Let's just stay still and see if we can figure this out. So we stayed still, and then she started to fade away, and I was like, no, and she faded away, so I had to go and find her again. And when I finally found her, I managed to grab onto her, and we turned into real people, and then we see the devil chasing us, saying, give me back that star! And so we had to run, and no matter what, we hung on to each other so that we made sure not to lose each other. And, we ended up finding other people who had been trapped in this hell for, like, centuries, and, we managed to find the door, and he tried to block it, but, there were so many of us that we were able to get out, so I ended up freeing a bunch of these people, and, our friends were really surprised that we had managed to escape, because no one's ever escaped that before. But we escaped, and, I told Devil, I was like, is it even real gold? And he's like, no, but it's important to me, or something like that. Or maybe, like, it's the principle, you weren't supposed to win it, or blah, 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 blah. And so I'm like, well, you tricked us. Or somehow I ended up convincing him to let Lauren keep the star. And he just huffed and went. I don't know why I keep summoning the little bastard. Oh, I love my little babies. Oh, you guys are so cute. The next thing I remember was, I'm always in school for some reason, even though I'm almost 30. Little belly, little belly, little belly. I love you, I love you, I love you. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. I'm sorry. They're so cute and snuggly. So I guess we had gone on a trip that required us flying. So, in an airplane. And I guess we were in a candy store or something, and there's always these couple of girls that hate me, and, but I had, wait, before that, I'll come back to the plane thing, later. I suddenly remember something else. So, I guess I was at a dinner party or something, and I didn't like to be there because there were so many people. But one of my friends was there, and Aaron was there, and my father was there, and my grandmother, and a bunch of other people, like uncles that I didn't even recognize, cousins, whatever. And then Harry Potter was there, and Draco, and Hermione, and Ron, and Hagrid, and I think Bellatrix Lestrange was there, and Snape might have been there. I don't remember. But all the adults were drinking and getting drunk, and, as always, whenever Erin is in the dream, I try to attack her, so I tried to, grab her hair and freaking punch her, and I'm trying to find my father, to help protect me, and one of my friends, who, is actually real, a past friend named Emma, we just grew apart. We didn't have any kind of falling out or anything. I love my rats. I love them so much. They're so cute. She turned into this weird, warped contortionist type thing. Why are you in my pillow? No. No, get out of there. No, that's not where rats go. Get out. No, get out of there. Chugga chugga booga. Little boogers. Little troublemakers. And she would stretch herself in weird ways, and her eyes were wide, and her mouth was stretched, and she was like, "Mommy's looking for you." And she would cling to me, and I'm trying to get her off, and I'm like, what's wrong with you, Emma? What's wrong? And she just didn't seem like herself. And she just kept saying, "Mommy's looking for you. Mommy wants to see you." And every time I pushed her off and ran, she was fucking fast, and she could fit into crevices. She could go under the floor. She could crawl along the ceiling. She could turn herself flat and go against the wall or something. It was really fucking scary. And she just kept screaming, "Mommy's looking for you." And I finally found my father, and for some reason when I was with him, I was safe, and Emma didn't pursue me further, but she would stand around the corner and just watch me with those really wide eyes. And eventually my dad took me to, I guess one of his brothers, whom I didn't recognize, so he probably doesn't exist, even though my father has a lot of brothers and sisters. And I guess one of my uncles had made a fruit plate, and, like a fruit and cheese plate, and he's like, "I need somebody to test these to make sure they're good," or whatever, because self-conscious uncle is self-conscious. And so I was like, "I'm a vegetarian, I can try them." And so there was like, cantaloupe and honeydew and watermelon and, peaches and cheese and, stuff that I like to eat. So I was trying pieces of the fruit. I remember saying that the cantaloupe was good, but it wasn't ripe enough. The honeydew was really good. I think there were some crackers there for the cheese. And then there was this little kid who kept stealing off of my plate, like off of my personal plate, and I was like, "Kid, seriously, stop it." And, but he started making me really angry, and, I don't exactly remember how I got him off of me. I think, I saw Hagrid, and I'm pretty sure he was with Snape, and I was like, "Hi, Hagrid," and both him and Snape were drunk, and I guess Snape is a really funny drunk, so he was nothing like he is, and Bellatrix Lestrange was also drunk, and pretty much all of the adults were drunk, and, something that makes me really uncomfortable, but I said something clever and wizardy, like I made a wizard joke or something, and they laughed, and it was probably really lame, but then I was like, wizard humor. I really don't remember what I said, but, for some reason that kept the kid from, stealing from me, because, oh no, adults, I'm going to get, in trouble. And then, I don't know, Harry Potter showed up, and he was flirting with me, And then Hermione and Ron showed up, and they were talking, and then Draco showed up, and he was flirting with me. It's not very often. I've had Harry Potter flirt with me a couple of times, but it's mostly Draco. But I was more happy to see Draco because of all the past dreams that I've had of him. And I don't remember how everything went. I think because I was a muggle, they were helping to, keep me safe or something. I love you. I love you. I think I remember asking Hermione if there was a spell she could use to repel children from me. Oh, don't you want my little cord? Don't you want my cord, Jerry? That's not good for rats. That's not good. Okay. And then I don't remember much after that except for the plane stuff. So, we were actually in a candy store. Like, it was a vast, huge candy store, and it was wonderful. And I'm like, because I'm crazy for sweets and shit. Bless you. And for some reason I didn't have my walking device, so I think it was a more regular version of Emma carrying me on her back, and we were getting candy and stuff, and she set me down, and I think she and one of her friends looked at me, and then they said something to each other that I couldn't hear, and then they started laughing, and I was like, suspicious, of course. So I started asking around, and the more friendly students were like, yeah, they've been talking shit about you. They've been making fun of your disabilities. And even though I'm disabled, I also have superpowers because reasons. So I of course wanted proof of this. I wasn't just going to take somebody's word for it. And I love you, Jerry. You want the scriggles? You want the scriggles? Yeah. So I guess somebody had caught it on their cell phone, like they recorded it or whatever. And so I approached them and I said, why would you do that? You're supposed to be my friend, and you know what I can do to people, so why would you risk such a thing? And then I think I remember turning. Oh, God, I cannot remember. I can't exactly remember, but I had a microphone and somebody clipped the jack off of it, and I was like, well, great, this is useless, and I left it behind. And eh, ew, something was on my tongue. There were the main two girls who aren't secretive about, making fun of me, and I'm like, I don't know why you guys do this. You know what I can do to you. You've seen what I can do to people. And so I go up to them, like I fly up to them really fast, and they scream and start running, and I'm like, yeah, it's what I thought, freaks. Says the cripple with superpowers. But I think Emma apologized or something, but I wouldn't forgive her because I don't take stuff like that lightly. But I was hanging out with my friends, the ones that I usually hang out with in dreams. Hang on, I need a drink of water. And we got on the plane, and the planes in my dreams aren't like usual planes. There's, room to kind of hang out. You can leave your seat and stuff and hang out. There's like floor space and everything. It's pretty cool. And the seats are sort of set up, sort of like a bus, a city bus. Hang on. A train? They're lined up on the side, facing, instead of facing front, they're facing inward with their backs to the walls, I guess. The only thing I can think of is city bus, but not all of you would know what those look like. Hey, what are you doing? No, no, you can't be on the pillow. No, you know better. You know better. No! You know better. Get off of my pillow. Get off of my pillow. Do. And for some reason, there are controls in the front that are unattended because the driving controls, like the main driving controls, are in the back. And you're pooping. Why are you pooping? Are you having problems? Do you need me? Are you okay? Hey, don't do that. Hang on a moment. Okay. So we were on the plane, and for some reason there was a girl with a puppy and 2 cats. She left them unattended, and, I was petting them and stuff, and the cat really loved me, and she would roll over on me so I could, pet her belly. And it was really refreshing for me to have animals there because I was really depressed because of Emma being, so phony. And my other friends didn't trust her either. They were like, you made her depressed, she has enough on her plate with the fact that she can't walk and stuff. And I've also been having trouble flying for some reason, and I have a bad habit of floating in directions and places that I really don't want to float. So I'll just kind of curl up in a ball so that, whatever I hit, I bounce off of, and it's real slow, so it's not like I'm shooting everywhere. And I can't control it, and it's really embarrassing. And then some of the girls thought it would be smart to take control of the plane from the front, which I don't know how they overrode it, but they were able to, and everyone was, freaking out, and especially when one of the girls freaking opened a window, and no, she didn't open the window. She opened the emergency door while we were in flight. And, so we were all hanging on for dear life, but she got sucked out. And some of the other girls were trying to close it, and they got sucked out. And they were all really stupid, so, they were like, that kind of gasp, like that kind of, that facial expression and laugh that teenagers usually have when they do something that they think is a good idea but ends up causing damage, and they kind of make this O face, and then they smile, and then they start laughing, like, oh shit, I can't believe we just did that. And it took a great deal of people to manage to close it, and I wanted to try, but I wasn't able to move from where I was. People were holding on to me, and they were like, she can't fly right now, or whatever. Something was wrong with me. And then one of the girls was like, it's okay, I can take control of the plane, I can go get them. And I'm like, what the fuck? Are you fucking serious? They're fucking dead. And the other girls were like, oh my god, good riddance. They were stupid enough to open the freaking door. What's wrong with them? and everyone was yelling at the girl not to take control of the plane, but she did it anyway. And I didn't know, the doors to the main control panel were closed, so I didn't know how to call for help. I was like, somebody call for help. Are there any buttons to call for help? Where were all the adults? Because whenever it's, for some reason, it's like we are children even though we're not children, or I'm a child even though I'm not a child. It's really confusing. Dreams are confusing. And then she started to point the nose downward, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And I managed to finally, I don't know, get my powers back or something. I was able to control myself again, and I told everybody to put their seatbelts on and sit as far away from the emergency door as possible. And I went out, and I managed to grow myself enough to where I could hold the plane in both of my hands. And I was flying, and I grabbed hold of the plane, which for some reason was trying to twist itself, its entire body, into, it was like trying to crush itself. It was trying to implode on itself, on itself. And so I had to hold it straight, and I put my mouth near the tail end of the plane where the main control panel was, and I was like, if you guys can hear me, some of the students are taking control of the plane. Please go out there and stop them. And I didn't know the direction in which the plane was supposed to be going, so I kind of just flew it in gentle circles until they could get control of it. But the problem is when I thought they gained control of it, I let go of it thinking that they were, gonna be able to take flight again, but they dropped right into the water, and I was like, ah! So I flew down as fast as I could, and I managed to save the plane with help of a giant child who was standing in the ocean, who was so big that the ocean was like up to his knees, and he just bent down and he picked up the plane and handed it to me, and I was like, thank you. And so I don't really remember. I think I had to, since they had dropped into water, I think they deployed the slide, the yellow slide, but I set the plane down somewhere else, and we all had to evacuate the plane, and the girl who took the control panel in the front was arrested. And then we all had to, because the plane was damaged from trying to twist itself, so we had to move all of our luggage to a train instead. And we were in a really stormy area where the winds were crazy. It was raining, and it was just fucking crazy. It was like, come on, weather, give us a chance to survive, please. And so we all boarded this stupid train. And I guess the girl who got arrested was really miffed about it, and I guess she somehow escaped and somehow took control, like hijacked the train. But it wasn't a normal train. I have this thing in my dreams that has happened recently where we have to go through certain, like, trials in order to get back to our main world or something. It's like a video game, and we're all given controls, and we're all put into teams, and we have to try and collect these items, to the rhythm of the music we're given, and it's all bright and flashy and light and pretty, but it's difficult. And there are 2 levels and 1 boss level. But somehow, the music changed in the middle of the level, and I heard one of my songs playing, and I was like, what the fuck? This is my music. And I was embarrassed because it wasn't one of my better songs, and I was like, what is going on? I didn't put this here. And one of the other girls was like, hang on, I have a suspicion. And she brought up YouTube and checked the girl's YouTube channel, and she was hacking into the train, into this game, live on YouTube from her computer or something, and singing along to my song because she knew my song. She knew my song enough to know it word for word. I no was she a fan of me? I was so confused, and I was like, oh, I can't. We couldn't play to this because it was completely different rhythm, and so she was trying to make it so that we couldn't get back to our world, and um and I'm not very good at these games to begin with. So in fact, every time I'm put with a team, I go, just heads up, sorry. So it usually takes me a long time to get to my world, because if you don't get enough points by the boss level to progress, then you have to start over, and you're stuck on this train until you can get enough points to go to your world, in which it'll stop. The top two teams who got the amount of points, the most points, would stop at the stop where there's a door on the left to one world and a door on the right to another world. So we could actually visit other worlds. I went to the Sims 3 world once, and I was like, yeah, this is cool, but I want to go to Earth! So, and there have been times where I've been left behind by friends, so because they just progressed better than me. And I've had to be put with strangers who like yell at me, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. But it was worse when this chick was hijacking the fucking station or whatever and was controlling the music, and it was like all of my stuff, and I was like, could you play one of my better ones, please, please? But I think she might have been trying to embarrass me or something, because I was the one with the superpowers, and I was the one who saved the plane. Because she wanted to, I don't know what she was planning on doing with the plane. And it was really terrifying. And Lauren was with me again. And she was one of the players, and she was better at it. And one of my other friends was really, really good at it. But I don't remember. Yeah, she didn't just have control of the station. She had control of basically everything in the train except for the direction it was going. And she would open doors, and people next to the doors would almost fly out, but luckily we all had our seatbelts on because they were required, because of how loopy the entire thing is. It's like a roller coaster full of colors. Like, if you've ever been to Disneyland, and you rode Space Mountain while they're doing the Red Hot Chili Peppers thing, that's kind of, I don't know if they do that anymore. That's kind of what it looks like, except more colorful, not as dark. I can also say it's reminiscent of the Chaos Emerald chase in Sonic Heroes. And let's see. So she kept opening doors to try and have people get sucked out, because it was like the same kind of pressure it was enough pressure to get you sucked out. And I kept telling everyone, because they all thought of me as like a superhero, and I'm like, don't think of me as a superhero because I'm not, able enough to be one, but I'm trying to help people as much as I can. And I tell them, keep your arm that's toward the door in toward your body, until the doors can shut, or until, I can get the door to shut or whatever, because their arms were being sucked out of the door, and I was afraid that the girl was going to shut the doors and chop off their arms. So I told them to keep their arms to their chest. And I might have told them to try and close the door with their arm that's not toward the door. I don't exactly remember how we got the door closed. But Lauren was on my left, and there were two Latina girls on my right. But they spoke English just fine. I just remember them being Latina. Um, and I think Lauren was the only one on my left. And she was closing the door just fine until at one point the door opened and she was trying to close it, and the door just completely went off hinge, and it was enough to break her out of her seatbelt, and so she was completely dragged out of the train and was flying away from the train holding onto this door. And I was like, oh my god. And so this is the second time I had to go save Lauren, and it was horrible because it took me forever to get out of my fucking seatbelt. And thankfully I managed to pick up speed to at least, line up with her. But she did manage to fall into this other world, and when she landed, she didn't land too hard, so she had only minimal injuries, like a little bit of bruises. And I was like, I hugged her and I was like, oh my god. And she's like, why does everything happen to me? But we completely missed our train, and we had to try and board another one, and we had to start over with the games all over. And it was still raining, it was still stormy. It seemed like it was stormy in all of the stations of these worlds. And I'm just like, I'm so exhausted. I don't remember what happened before I woke up. No, I do. We did board a train, but at some point, I guess the girl was able to track me or something, so she decided to bring the train underwater, and the water managed to get in, so I felt it at my halfway point, and I told everybody, don't breathe in until the water is, close enough to your mouth, and breathe in, hold your breath. And when I hold my breath in my dreams, I actually hold my breath in real life. So, it's really dangerous. But luckily sometimes in my dream I'll cheat and try to breathe and realize that even though my psyche believes it's underwater, I can still breathe. So I'll be all like thinking that I can only take quick breaths. So, but this time I was holding my breath, and I think that woke me up, and I kind of had to look around, like, where am I? I was really tired, and for some reason I was in a lot of pain. My abdomen was in pain. I'm sitting here wondering if I'm going to start my period soon. And I'm just like, I felt exhausted. Every time I have these crazy dreams, I feel like I spent the entire night, and not just the entire night, hours upon hours running or having to deal with this kind of stress. I just feel like I was there, and it's not fun. And even though I can't remember every detail, I wish that we could record the imagery and the audio of our dreams, because it's really the imagery that gets me. All of my dreams just decide to play on all of my fears, losing Lauren. Mike wasn't there. Mike was in our world waiting for me. And, poor Lauren is, I'm moving away, and we're gonna miss each other and stuff, because we're like sisters, but because of her work and just circumstance, we haven't been able to hang out, so it almost feels like we're growing apart. So in the dream, she was like, I didn't know you cared enough about me to come and save me. And this was after she got dragged into hell, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I was like sobbing, and I was like, I would have done the same thing for Michael. And she's like, obviously you would have done the same thing for Michael. I'm like, I can't lose you. I love you. And I was just bawling. I would not let go of her. And it was the same thing after she got dragged out of the train. And I'm just like, you didn't get hurt. I don't know what I would have done with myself. So, That was really freaky. And then the other fear that, that the earlier dreams played on was Aaron. And you are early, sir. I'm recording a dream journal. It's okay. Okay, like what I was saying, pardon me. The main part of the dreams that really messed with me were the contortionist version of Emma. Just, it's not okay. I'm just like, seriously, mind? Can you just leave me alone, please? I like having crazy, vibrant dreams where I don't have to deal with, that kind of stress, the post-traumatic stuff. It's not okay. I mean, I get a lot of my ideas from the, good crazy dreams, and some of them I just feel really good after I wake up, and it's nice to feel really sorry, I just ate. It's just nice to feel really good after waking up from sleep, but that doesn't happen as often. So, there was a part of my dream, and I don't remember why this was, but I had two giant rats. One was blue, and one was like a mint green, and they had dorsal fins that had, bone in them, like solid bone. I don't know. I can't even, no, I don't understand. Anyway, so that was a dream journal, and if you liked listening to this, subscribe and click the little bell, and spread the word of awesome, become a Reitannite, and I shall see you later, alligators and crocodiles. Goodbye.